So, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit. But before we do that, I want you guys to know who you're talking with. And so when you look at this call, this is the Millionaire Mindset call. Like Carly says, this happens every Monday night without fail. This is where we really pour into you. We give you all the goods. We give you all the gold. We give you all the nuggets, and put you in a position where you can actually be equipped to go out there and do some big things. Okay, that's important. And so again, that word foresight means vision. And as they say, he who does not have vision shall perish. And so, and that's you talking about vision when it comes to finances, vision when it comes to wealth, health, and every relationships. If you don't have the vision, guys, you don't go out there and put yourself in a position where you're empowering yourself and educating yourself. You're going to perish in one or more areas of your life. Okay, and so that's important. So make it your business to be here or somewhere every Monday night, that puts you in a position where you're getting better. Okay, that's one. Two, when you look at, again, who we are and what we've always been about, it's always been about financial empowerment. And me growing up the way I did in poverty and government assistance, when I figured out what residual income could do for a person, I made it my life mission basically to go out there and make sure that everybody was at least introduced to it. Okay, and so that's important. So when you look at Project Pride is pretty much my life mission, producing residual income in a down economy, right? And it's not just the economy in the government, it's the economy in your household. So that's important. That's crucial. Okay, that's crucial. So when you look at home-based businesses, you got kids running to your office, you know how that is. So again, every household has a different economy down to the penny. Right? You're the president, vice president. Between you and your spouse of your household, the economy is your responsibility, not the responsibility of the people who run the government. Right? And so, again, that's something that you put yourself in a really good, strong position when you start to help other people create residual income. Okay. And so now that puts you in a position of stability and security. So regardless of what happens in the economy, regardless of what happens, in an opportunity, you're still in a position of strength, where you have opportunities and breathing room and time to breathe and rebuild, okay, and do something necessary to go out there and make, like when COVID hit, we had a lot of residual income coming in. And so one of the current companies that we were building at that time took a massive hit, and we were still able to stay afloat. We didn't have to jump from company to company. We were able to stand put until we were able to move into the investment realm. And so, and that's a very huge thing, guys. You want to go to sleep at night, every night, knowing that your family is financially covered. Okay, and so that's got to be a goal to get there. Then when you look at our goal here, you're talking about over the next, our definition of purpose, our agenda over the next 2 years is to take Project 10,000 families and help them get to at least $5,000 a month in residual reoccurring income. Okay, and that's something that I believe that if you add 60 grand a year to somebody's lifestyle, guys, what they're already making $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year. You're blessing that person. You're putting that person in a position where, again, they may not ever have to worry about money again as long as they live. And it's not that they're rich; it's just that they have way more than they need, and they can actually go out there and enjoy life. They can enjoy living while they're on this earth that we're on. And so I just tell you, being free, guys, watching how a lot of people live, and then being able to experience the lifestyle that we created for ourselves, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Just happy, peaceful. Your sons and your kids get a chance to, grow up in that environment, around that mindset, and they see what you teach work. That's where you really want to be, guys. Okay. So a lot of you have grandkids as well. Again, this works for them as well. Okay. And so I know Attorney Sloan, when she's listening to Crash Camp on Saturdays, her grandkids are around. Right, they're in that ear hustling, even though they have no idea what they're ear hustling. When they hear it and it's going into their spirit at some point in time when they become teenagers and adults, it might come back to help them, right? And so who knows? But that's who we are, guys, the Foresight family. This is what we do every week. Like I said, like clockwork. And so myself or one of our top-notch leaders will be here training for you and delivering the goods. Okay. And so now I want to talk about announcements. You have what we call our annual trip, one of our annual trips, luxury trips. That cruise, again, you want to make sure that you get yourself signed up for the cruise. Make sure you got your cabin booked up before they all go away. Because again, remember, we're not the only ones trying to book. Yeah, you got people all around the world trying to book on that same cruise. So again, time is going to determine whether you get that cabin or not. So go ahead and go to Foresight, www.skforesight or foresight-mg.com, and you'll see the link to go out there and enroll. Okay. Let's see here. Now, want to give you guys up there. I know some of you guys got some information today, and it was about SCF as far as what their next plans are or what they're trying to do with vouchers and all this other stuff that they got going on. This is what I want you guys to do. And this is the thing about emotional sophistication. Okay? You have to personally put yourself in the position of the leader and stay there. Okay? You got to make sure that because remember, what you read, puts a lot of people in a position where they're jumping to conclusions. It happens 100% of the time, and it happens because of trauma. Okay? Things that happened to you in the past, things you've experienced in the past. It happens to us all. If you lost any kind of money, the first time you have a hiccup, slow down, pause, stop, verbiage come out, again, it hits you. And so I always want to make sure that you put yourself in a position where anything that you don't understand comes to you and people are asking you questions that you're not qualified to answer at that time. Don't try to answer them. Don't put a spin on it. Okay. Don't try to calm a person. That's not your job. Your job is to tell the truth, and your job is to be emotionally sophisticated. Okay. And so, I have people who are asking questions to people who are not qualified to answer those questions. Okay. And so anytime something comes out, what I do is before I actually pass judgment or before I send anything to anybody, if you notice, I haven't posted anything in any groups, okay, at all. I haven't came in except for into the leadership group and let them know that I'm scheduled to talk to _Joe after this call because he's still on the call right now. And so as soon as he gets off that call, he and I have our discussion, and he can give me his verbiage on what he's going to do, how he's going to proceed, how he's going to build out, and what this is and what this means. Is in full definition of what he can. So that's my thing. So when I talk to him, what I will do is I will come back and relay all that information to you guys, and it'll be on Facebook Live. It'll be in the group where everybody can see, and I'll make sure we make posts in the Telegram group to make sure everybody gets that. And so make sure everybody has the opportunity to go out there and watch it live or watch it on the recording when they have opportunity to. Okay? But I definitely want you guys to, again, going forward, again, this is all principle based. Don't make this situational based because there's no situation too great for you to come out of character. Okay? If your character is leadership, you stay in character and you do everything principle based, and then people respect you for it. And when you actually get rattled, you get disheveled, and you get up in arms or what have you, and then you do what the worst thing, you start to follow the leader and you start having conversations that people who are negative minded or people who are emotionally unsophisticated start to have. Okay, then what happens is the rest of your team sees you as weak. The rest of your team sees you as a follower, because when you're making a ton of money, it's easy for you to be a great leader. It's easy for you to be super positive, right? It's easy for you to be on top of the world, but that's not when you're judged. You're judged when you're going through some things, and that's when you figure out who you're actually doing business with. Okay? And so for me, I watch how people behave when things happen, when things go bump in the night, or when it looks like it's going to go bump in the night. Okay? And so that's at that point in time when you actually get the information, you figure out what direction you want to go in. At least you know who you can rely on, you know who you can depend on, and you know who you can build around, okay, going forward. Okay. But again, this is a millionaire mindset conversation. Okay? This is big boy, big girl conversation. So again, make a pact with yourself to be principle based. Make a pact that you will always and forever, 100% of the time, anything that appears to be negative to you and you need clarity on, take it up. Don't take it down. Okay, take it up. Don't take it down. Negativity goes up to your superiors, to your uplines, to your senior partners, whatever you want to call them, and positive goes down. If people are calling you and asking you questions and you don't have answers, I'll get back to you. Okay, and that's for everybody on here. All right, this is what you call a leadership conversation right here. So this is for everybody to grow from, because you're learning, and at this point in time, how to behave in certain situations. This is not my first. It's definitely not going to be my last. Some of you guys, it may be your first, and I can guarantee you, if you're dealing with money outside of a job, it's not going to be your last. Business is going to be business 100% of the time. And sometimes when you don't have control over what's going on, again, you're not in that boardroom making those meetings. You have to figure out, you get the information late. Let me just say that. And then at that point in time, you make a decision on how you move going forward, how you move accordingly. So the cool part about it is this. Again, when you look at 𝐭𝐲𝐬, he's right there at the top. He's actually getting information. He's having calls as we speak. And so I will have information to feedback, give you guys some feedback after this is over, okay, or after our call is over. And I'll probably actually do it tonight. As soon as I get to, depending on how late it's going to be, I might do it tonight. Okay, but that's, again, you be the leader. Always put yourself in a position where you're controlling and the narrative. You want to make sure that you keep your people, because remember, they have to be in a protected space. You have to put a person in a position where they can relax, understand that whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I'm not saying anything is, but I want to make sure you guys understand I'm in the same position that you guys are. Going in, again, I just got in first. Okay. And so, but this is also, and like I said, the company's not going anywhere. I believe that everything's going to be fine. We just got to figure out what the verbiage says, what it means, and what the process is going forward. But this is why I always tell you guys 100% of the time, diversification is important. But also, this is why you should always also 100% of the time when you come in, get the biggest bang for your buck. Get your money back 100% of the time. Okay. As we say, when we talk about investments, never invest more than what you can afford to lose, things like that. And that's the things that you hear all the time. But most people hear them and most people say them, but most people, they don't practice what they preach to other people. Okay? And they say it as a disclaimer. Almost to say, well, I'm saying this kind of like the Surgeon General puts smoking can kill you on the side of cigarettes, but they know you're going to buy them anyway. And so they just say it to get out of the way. When you see me move, when you see me launch, you see me go into a company, and you don't see me do anything slow. Okay, I am going to be in profit in the first 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not waiting for 2 to 3 months. Okay, because we've seen this. Like I say, we've seen shows where companies have done their things and they come up missing, and then you see people who get caught holding the bag, or they wait too late to start moving around, wait too late to start referring, or they wait too late to start withdrawing money. And the good thing about it is that, again, you guys have the opportunities to make sure that changes if you haven't already. That's got to become a part of your launch style as well. Last week we talked about micro launches, and that's why you want to launch as a professional, as an influencer, or you want to launch as somebody who has a lot of really decent activity with no influence, but can still put yourself in a position where you can get your money coming back in 2 or 3 weeks within the business. You can put yourself in a position where you're teaching your people based on your experiences. Okay, but also, again, diversification. When you look at, a lot of you still have your land screen accounts, still pulling you 1% a day. And I can just tell you, you're less worried than most people. A lot of people still have, you got the other projects that we have that are working, and the new projects that we have that are launched. Matter of fact, to share with you guys, even with the dream trips that we just launched, and it's not been a month, guys, but we without focusing on it, without doing presentations, just by putting people in a position where they can say yes or no, we've already made enough money to pay for the mortgage for the month. Okay, and again, I'm showing you guys, I'm telling you guys, this is, the path that you should be rolling with. This is how you should be expanding your portfolio, but this is also how you should be building. Okay. So when you look at what we're doing, guys, again, this is a investment club, not an investment company, right? And so when you look at, if you ask any of the people who actually have multiple things working for them, the Joe Coins of the world, Marika's of the world, a lot of people who have 4, 5, and 6 investments, Dale Boudreaux's of the world, these people, again, it's just something else that's in their portfolio. Okay, remember, you married a process, you never married a company. Married a process, never married a company. And I'll say it one more time, because of network marketing, you were told that you were only able to do one company at a time. And so you married the company. And that's how people get stuck. That's how people, get themselves in a position where they can be manipulated, and they can be, put in a position where people can make them feel bad about looking at something else, right? You married your husband, you married your wife, right? Those are the only people you're supposed to be loyal to. Your job is not to be loyal to me. Your job is to be loyal to the financial welfare of your families. Okay, that's where your loyalty should be. Okay? And so, not to a company, not to a person, to your family, and to the process that's going to get you to that point to where you never have to worry about money again as long as you live. Right. Okay? And so, with that said, I am going to go ahead and just drop a couple nuggets on you guys as far as something. I had another training for you guys. It seems like that happens all the time now, but I did have one that I was working on, and I really want to share some of this stuff with you guys. And I'll do the other training next week when I got the whole entire time to do it. But when you look at your groups, okay, when you look at your groups, how many of you would like to have more explosive groups? People in your groups who are making way more money, people in your groups who are really ambitious, people in your group who are really evolving skill set wise. How many of you guys, give me some ones, if you're one of those people said, that you actually would like to have a different culture in your group, you like to transform your group. Give me some ones. Let me see some ones. Let me see who I'm dealing with here. I'll make sure I'm on Facebook here. All right, now I can see everybody. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, all right, all right. So when you look at, the question of the day, I guess, should be, how do you transform the culture in your groups, right? And I was just talking to one of my guys. This is why I just started taking some bullet points, and this is just almost off a napkin. And driving home from the lake, and he was just saying, "Hey, man, I've made more, and he's made way more money than me." He said the one thing that you have that you can always fall back on is your system. He says, "I have the influence. I have a ton of influence. I have a ton of experiences, ton of relationships." He said, "But the one thing that I would be hard pressed to do is create what you guys have created." He said, "I really don't know many people in this industry at all. There's several of them that have done it, from a standpoint of, which is still a small fraction." He said, "But most people don't have what you guys have, and it's special." And so we do have an environment and a culture that people, once they embrace it and they realize it's different, and they realize that there's a lot of personal development that comes with it, financial growth that comes with it, they fall in love with it, and the rest, as they say, is history. And that's what he wants. Okay? And so he's becoming one of my clients. And so as far as my clients, he's not going to pay 50 grand. He'll pay 20. And I'm going to give him the homeboy hookup, the discounted rate, because I love him. But I'm going to, him and 20 of his top leaders, I'm going to be able to put a whole entire program together for them to kind of show them what we do and teach them, how to actually do what we do. Okay? But for those of you who are already here, and I say it to say this, if a person who's made millions of dollars sees the value in what we have, and you have people who you're begging, to plug into the system. Again, remember, millionaires and billionaires, you don't have to beg. People who have a wealth mindset, you don't have to beg. It's the broke-minded people that you'll have to beg. You have to poke, prod. As a matter of fact, I can tell you right now, there are people who got on the call today, and it's the first time or second time getting on. And the only reason they got on was to hear if I was going to say something about SCF. That's it. That was it. And it's a shame, because they really got on for the wrong reason. They got on for the wrong reason. But again, this is why, again, when you start listening to people, when you start talking to people, and people are telling you that they don't want to be rich, they're just not saying it to you directly. They're telling you they want to stay in that same position, and they really want you to be there, but you're not paying attention. But you continue to have conversations with them, you continue to beg with them, you continue to sit there and try to hatch them like their egg, instead of going out there and finding people, who are open-minded, people who are big thinkers, people, and they don't have to have big money, they just have to have big thinkings, the big thought processes. They have to have ambition. And I can work with anybody who has the same level of ambition, even if they have less than $100 in the bank, because that was me, when I lost everything. That's why I don't judge people by what they have, I judge people by who they are. Okay, so if you got something to work with, I'll work with it, and I'll give you tests. And I test people all the time. There are people, I'm looking at the names right now that on this call right here, right now, that I have never called back after I've given them an assignment. If I've given a person an assignment and say, go do this, go do that, and then come back and talk to me, and they don't do it because of their bad habits, okay, that lets me know that person is not emotionally sophisticated enough to work with me. That person is not ready to work with me. Okay? And so what I do is I put a void by their name, okay, and I just don't answer the phone, because I don't give my productive resources to people who, again, don't know the value of them. And I suggest you do the same, because, again, how many of you, just being honest, just put me in the chat if you know for a fact you've been focusing on the wrong people. And there are people on your list you could have called. Just put me in the chat. Okay. There you go. There you go. There's some me. This is a safe place. And so when you actually are in a position where you can admit that, you can do something about that. Right. And so the first person you need to recruit is a new you. If you want to change the culture in your groups, in your organizations, in your teams, you got to change the culture within your daily regimen, your daily routine. It doesn't have to be you do 50 phone calls a day, 100 phone calls a day, get dressed up in a suit, tie, dress suit outfit, go to the mall and park yourself. You ain't got to go out here. You don't have to do a whole lot of any of that. Okay. It's just the decisions that you make on a daily basis, with micro habits to get better over time. That's what matters. People who try to make wholesale changes, they fail. Like I got a fun fact for you guys that ain't that fun, but most of you don't know that I used to smoke cigarettes. When I was 18 years old, I smoked cigarettes for 2 years. Okay, and I quit cold turkey. Now, how did I quit cold turkey? Because I wasn't allowed to buy cigarettes in the military when I went in. So it was a forced quit, right? The environment forced me to quit. Left on my own, I'd probably still be smoking, right? So Barb, I'm just telling you, I'm out here bragging because I set it up so it'll be delivered that way. Okay. They forced me, you can't buy cigarettes, you can't smoke cigarettes. We're about to train you. As a matter of fact, you're already out of shape. We're about to whip you into shape, and we're not going to have you go backwards and regress. So you can't buy cigarettes. If you buy cigarettes, we're going to do something bad to you in the military. We're going to punish you. Okay. And so that's how I was able to quit cold turkey, not because I had the fortitude to, or the discipline to, okay, or I was just that I had that discipline that was just that solid. It was the environment. It was the culture. It was the conditioning over time. And so those micro habits, guys, are going to help you out, but this environment is going to reinforce it. We talk about having your accountability partners on a regular basis. A lot of you guys will cross line and talk to people about everything except for what you should be talking to them about, right? You don't talk to them about their goals. You don't talk to them about their dreams. You don't talk to them about the next event, right? You talk to them about everything under the sun, rumors, gossip, checking on them, see how they're doing, which is cool. But again, you guys are missing moments. Okay. So the first thing you want to do, if you want to change the culture in your group, change the culture yourself, change your habits, make some decisions, go out here and set some goals and become a better version of you, and watch you start to attract better people. Okay. But let's see here. Here's some of the biggest mistakes companies make and groups make, when they're trying to do a culture change. So when you see a lot of companies out there, a lot of groups out there, they kind of treat it like it's a marketing campaign, right? They'll go out there and say, here's the launch date, right? Here's a launch date. Here are all the programs that we're going to make, available to everybody. Here are all the PowerPoints for the executives and presenters to do presentations for. And then it either doesn't work or is met with resistance. So think about it. How many times we've launched something, okay, that had great intent, okay, and a lot of people didn't jump right on board, right? Or a lot of people even push back and say, that's just not what I'm gonna do, right? But it's a millionaire mindset, to say, I'm going to submit to the information, I'm gonna submit to the wisdom, I'm going to submit to the process, I'm going to submit to the results, I'm going to submit to the person who's got the resume of making millionaires. But you, at that time, you make a decision to think for yourself, right? Think about this for a second. I had trainings before in the past, and I asked people, and on live, if I was to put my brain in your head, you put your brain in my head, who would make more money in this type of situation? And 100% of the time, people say, I would, because I have your brain. But when you're not on a Zoom and a live where you have to give the right answer, you do the wrong thing. I give you advice 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you still take it with your brain, not mine, right? And so in order for it, you put yourself in a position where you don't meet that resistance. In order for you to put yourself in a position where people, don't buck the system and just say, I'm not going to do it. You got to go out there and, again, you got to be the prototype. You got to go out there and you got to go get some results. You got to go out there and you got to go be different. People got to see that you are evolving, and people got to see that the things that you are doing and the things that you're preaching already works. Okay, so you can't talk to people about recruiting if you're not recruiting. You can't talk to people about investing, a proper amount of money if you're not investing proper amounts of money. You can't talk to people about, just really plugging into a system and getting better if you're not doing it yourself. The one thing that I've established over my tenure since 1996, when I joined network marketing, my first network marketing company, was that I went to everything that I was supposed to go to. I plugged into everything I was supposed to plug into. And all those years of being in the right place at the right time and being the right person in the right mindset when I was there, it's made me millions. And not just made me millions, but made other people millions. And so when I'm giving you information, guys, this is coming from a place of, application, not a place of, hypothetical thoughts that most people in these industries have. People do what they, think may work. I do what's been proven to work. It may not be the sexiest or most attractive thing, but it will work. And if you notice, if you have brand new people who are coming in and they see the results that you guys have, they'll be the first ones to actually follow your instructions. It's not your old heads. It's not the people who you launched it with. It's the people who are brand new who are coming in through other people who will have the respect for you. And those will be the people who you build the future around. Okay, so you have to prepare yourself for those people. There's nothing you can do to convince. There's nothing I can do right now at this point in time, to let's just say if Beverly felt some kind of way about me, there's nothing I could do to really change how Beverly feels about me. She's known me too long. Dale's known me too long. Carly's known me. Joe's known me too. I am already who I am to them. They already respect me on a level that they respect me on, right? And it's no different than you guys. The people who you sponsor, the people who are in your easy list that are now doing business with you, there's nothing you can do to impact those people except for impact other people, and then the other people will start to treat you different. Your own kids will start to treat you different. Okay, so start with you. Put yourself in a position to be the prototype, right? But when you look at what they call the law of diffusion and innovations, right? Which has to become your best friend, by the way. You want to make sure you find out who your core people are. I know for a fact, that we still have over 100,000 people who came into our coffee company. Okay? 100,000 people didn't stay, but we had well over 100,000 people who came through that company. And right now we still do $700,000 a month in volume in that company. Didn't do anything, haven't done anything in that company for 5 years. And I'm telling you this because what we've created and the millions of dollars that we've earned over in that company, that we're still earning over in that company, guys, we did with 18 people. Okay. We didn't do it with 100 people. We didn't do it with 100,000 people. We did it with 18 people. Okay. So what you find is your core people, your 20%ers, your troopers. And those are the people who you want to make sure you paint a real clear vision with and around. Because those are the people who are going to have your back. Those are the people who are going to be right there in the trenches with you. Those are going to be people who are going to become the leaders. Remember, I'm the head. I'm not the leader. Okay. Beverly is a leader because she follows what we say. Marika is the first person to say, she's one of the first people to say, you know what, it's okay. I'm following what they say. It's okay to do it. So she's a leader. Arlene's a leader. Carla's a leader. Joe. So these core people are the leaders. People are not looking at me because they've already judged me to be somebody who wants to make money off of them. Just to be honest and call it what it is. Okay. So if I say, let's do this, they're not going to move until they see my core group move. They're not going to move until they see my core leaders move, right? And so, because those are the people who they follow closely. Those are the people who they trust, and they see them move, then they'll move just like that. So you got to establish like the people who are early adopters, as Simon Sinek says, right? Your early adopters right away, the people who are going to do what you do, period, because they trust you. It's kind of like when they got the Mac computer, everybody bought the iPhone and everything else that Apple started to sell because, they basically, they sold out when they fell in love with the Mac. And it don't matter what Apple sells now, the early adopters are going to buy it. Okay. They're going to buy it. And so you want to figure out who your early adopters are. You want to figure out who your core groups are. You want to figure out who your 20%ers are, your truthers, the people who you can get in the trenches with, people who you're going to pour into, people you're going to support, people you're going to build around. You got to figure those people out, and don't do it based on who you love and who you like. Okay. If you want to be broke, that's the fastest way to be broke. Do that. Build a fortune around people who are not qualified to be in your inner circle. Do that. Okay. For me, I've learned that the hard way, right? And after I learned the hard way, I've never done it again. I am harder on the people that I love, my family, my friends. I'm harder on them because those are the people who feel entitled. Your 20%ers can't be, any of those people. As a matter of fact, the fastest way to lose your 20%ers, your troopers and people like that, is for them, the people who are busting their butts, people who are on your millionaire mindset calls, people who are presenting during the week to see you give favor to somebody who doesn't deserve it when they actually worked harder. That's a smack in the face. Right? And so you got to be just, saying, guys, this is not a favor. This is not a a favoritism contest. You have to be just. And so, and people respect you for it. The people who deserve it, they'll appreciate it. They'll be grateful for it. They'll love you for it. They'll be loyal for it. And they'll teach other people how to behave, going forward. They will be your protectors at that point in time. They'll be the protectors of the vision at that point in time. They'll be the people out there with, what they call the billboards or whatever it is. They're going to be the ones that you build your fortune around. So what you do is you invest anything and everything that you can in them. Think about it for a second. We have Plus members for Grant Cardone, and we have VIP members for Grant Cardone. One pays $300 for access to 5. One pays $500 for access to 10. Do any of y'all pay more than me per month for your groups? No. So I made the decision to do it anyway because I already knew who was going to benefit from it. My 20 percenters. And then they would attract more people after that. The people who had the fastest growing groups, guys, they're the 20 percenters. They're the people who are closest to the fire. They're the people who are always plugged in. They're the people always doing 3 ways and lifelines. They're the people who are always and forever just pushing the system, right? And so that's how you make sure, okay, that you keep your 20 percenters and everybody else taken care of. Make sure they're plugged into the system. If you care about a person, plug them into the system. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So when you think about it for a second, this is another thing he had. He said, the next after the early adopters, guys, the innovators rather, the 2.5%, the early adopters are the 12.5%. And then where you make the most money at, where you have the most, let's say security at, and where you can do the most damage, when it comes to not just sustaining, but scaling your portfolios and your groups and teams and stuff like that, is the next two. You got the early majority, which is 34%, and you have the late majority, which is 34%. Okay. So innovators 2.5, early adopters 12.5, but at 70% between the early majority and the late majority. Okay. These are what we call the incubators. These are the people who you've been preaching to them to come to the calls, get on the trainings, and they never recruit anybody, right? They never do anything except for what they're supposed to do, but they're always plugged in, right? When things start to shift and things start to pick up and things start to grow and things start to roll, that's where the most of your money is going to come from, the masses, the majority, okay? And what most people do is they poke and prod those people, right? They see who their early adopters are and they say, you know what, great job, guys. You guys, I can always count on you guys. And then they look over at the early majority and the late majority and say, you guys are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You guys are not investing like you're supposed to be investing. You're not recruiting like you're supposed to be recruiting. And you're not coming to all the calls and meetings. And it's not one of those type of things. But because you're greedy, because you're insensitive, because you don't understand, you don't know any better, right? That's how you treat people that's in an investment portfolio. You treat them like they work for you. You treat them like they're like everything that they're not doing, they're doing something wrong because it's not making you money. Okay. But your early adopters, okay, they will go out there and make it safe and make it easy and make it attractive, okay, for the early majority. Okay. Well, so when you start seeing the early majority come over, you see the people on the back half. 30 days later, 60 days later, 90 days later, when the checks get bigger, more VPs, more SVPs hit, okay, more people breaking ranks and taking trips, and dream trips, more people still getting 1% and land screen. When they see all this long-term investment money coming through and people are getting paid, 20% per year or 25% per year, 35% per year, whatever it is. When they start to see that, then it goes from the early movers to the late movers coming over. That's why, guys, we have, remember, I told you, 18 people, okay, triggered well over 100,000 people coming through that organization. At the height, it was $1.2 million per volume coming in per month, right? But 18 people are not paying that amount of money per month. But what they did was they influenced the others to come on in and do what was right, make some money, plug into the system. And now, because they were able to do that, the early majority and the late majority in that coffee company are all buying coffee. Still to today. Some of you guys want the microwave effect and you want to change the culture in your organizations overnight and you want to force people to do it. That's not how it happens. The worst thing that ever happened to most people was the microwave. Because I can just say a lot of women don't even know how to cook them. It's credit cards and microwaves. Bing, right? And swipe, right? that you can't make a feast in the microwave. You can make it fast, but it won't be a feast. And it'll be memorable for the wrong reasons. Okay. You got to grow through the process. If you want to take the rest of your life off, you're going to have to, anything you want more of, guys, let me share something with you. Anything you want more of, you're going to have to sacrifice more of it in the beginning. Okay. You want more time, you're going to have to invest in time to study, to grow, to present, to practice. You got to invest in time and application, right? And replacing. All that takes time, right? If you want more money, you're going to have to invest more money. Whatever you invest in a company, you're going to get a return on it. Yeah. But again, if you want to be wealthier faster, do it smarter, okay? Do it wiser. Be a little bit more aggressive, but not aggressive to overly aggressive, where you put yourself at risk. And if you're gonna be aggressive with a plan. I always have a plan, and my plan is to get my money back like yesterday. Do not wait. I'm not waiting on y'all, right? I don't call when we think about this. Was ask. Matter of fact, Beverly, when we launched, did I call you every day saying, "Hey, how many people you got for me?" Nope. Arlene, did I call you? No. Okay. Yeah, no. Dale, no. Okay. So no, I don't. I made the phone calls to people who were not in my business already. I went first. I was a prototype, and then I came back and reported, right? And so I'm just telling you, I have to go out here and make it work. You want more time, you got to give up more time. Want more money, you got to give up more money, right? So be prepared to invest as much time in your situation as you need to, because it's worth it on the back end. It really is. It's worth it. Okay, let's see here. Also, when you look at your culture, reflect on your culture. After you reflect on yourself, you'll see what's wrong with the culture for the most part, but look at your overall team. And what you do is you make two lists. Okay? What does your team do great? Okay? Like if I'm talking about Laura Johnson, her team is on everything. They're plugged into everything. They participate in everything. They don't miss trips. So they're always on point. They're always available, right? So she's really good at promoting. Okay. And she got that honest because her leaders are really good at promoting. Okay. But look at what your team does great. Okay. And then look at what your team can do better. I don't want to say what your team does bad. Look at what your team needs to start doing or what they can do better. Can they improve on recruiting? Can they start doing presentations, or can they be better at presentations? You know, can they be good at 3 ways and lifelines, or can they be, whatever it is that they're doing, guys, that they can do better or that they need to start doing that they're not doing, make a list of it, write it down. Okay. And then what you do is you go to the system and say, okay, this is our system. Okay. Lay that over the system and see, lay it over the system so the system can tell you why you're making so much money or why you're not, why you're costing yourself money. Because what you'll see a lot of times, you'll see a lot of deficiencies in areas that are important that people devalue, they don't have value for. Like 3 ways and lifelines, I can tell you right now, 3 ways and lifelines, especially 3 ways, those are some of the most powerful and impactful things that a person can do. And I'll tell you why. Just this one thing can actually change. Like if most of you added 3 ways and lifelines, specifically 3 ways to your actual thing, a lot of your cultures will start to evolve. Because remember, one thing that you add can actually add 1, 2, or 3 zeros to your annual income. And if you're really good at it, can add it to your monthly income. But 3 ways are one of the best ways to make sure you get third-party credibility. You have somebody who has nothing to do with that other person's life, come in and give them some really good advice. Tell them I'm going to be here for you. We're going to be here to help you, and answer any questions that person can have. But they're also going to give some wisdom and some nuggets of knowledge as well that you can actually learn from and glean from. I made a fortune off of three ways. And I'm not talking about all the people coming in, because a lot of people came in. That's not what I made the fortune off of. I made the fortune off of learning how to communicate with people, doing a three-way and a lifeline. I learned how to ask questions, quality questions, based on the questions that I heard my sponsor, my leader, ask doing three ways and lifelines. I learned how to lead doing the three-way phone call. Like a lot of you guys, you can't get a person on the Millionaire Mindset call. You can't get a person on a Grant Cardone call or whatever, but your leader can. You'll have a higher show-up ratio if you had intervention. If you literally put somebody else in the driver's seat, like I used to blame everything on my leader. Even if it's my idea, a lot of times, even when it was my idea, I would still put it and blame it on the leader or give it to the leaders, or because I know for a fact that my people were way too close to me, okay, to follow my initiatives, follow my advice, right? Too close to me. And that's the thing about it. A lot of you guys are way not necessarily too close to your people, but you don't know how to separate your relationship from business. Literally. Like I have people who, like Lakeland, I'll give you an example. Lakeland is a prime example of a person who we have one hell of a time. We are really good friends. But I can guarantee you, when it comes time for business, it's Mr. Bean. It's Miss Bean. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It don't matter if it's on a text message. If he's talking business, it's Mr. Bean, it's Miss Bean. If he's talking friends, it's whatever he want to call me and whatever I want to call him. But we have that mutual respect for each other. You know, I don't use my friendship to manipulate him, and he don't use our friendship time to disrespect me, right? But again, a lot of you guys don't know how to, and a lot of you guys, when people come into your businesses, you make them your friend immediately. You should never do that. Because you can't give your friend advice. And some of you guys are making so much money. Some of you guys are so special that you have people who want to join you just because you're special. And once they have that access to you and they get real close to you and they take it for granted, and they got what they really wanted. What they wanted was not to get rich. What they wanted was to be connected to you. Yeah, and they got it. People always want to be a part of something big or close to somebody big. Why do you think celebrities are, you know, when it comes to endorsing stuff, people have celebrities endorse it? Because they know for a fact that you go Google Gaga over celebrities, people who are important, people who are famous, right? And so learn how to keep the distance from people when they get started. Learn how to keep it business. Learn how to keep it 100 and give it, because what happens is you're not doing that person a favor by becoming their friend. You're actually hurting their chances of being successful. I've learned a long time ago not to let everybody in until we're at a point to where I feel like they can actually handle it. Like Lakeland, again, another thing about it, he won't even invite me into an area where we're going to be in a friendship vibe, where other people who are on his team will be around to experience that, because he's protecting me as his leader, right? And that's admirable. And we've had time where I say in certain situations, oh, don't worry about it. I'm okay. I know how to handle myself in that environment. I know for a fact nobody's going to disrespect me over there. And it's like, all right, cool. But it's just, again, he understands that dynamic. Terica understands that dynamic for my wife. Same thing. Miss Bean, Miss Bean, Miss Bean, Miss Bean. Outside of that, they friends, right? And so stop making everybody your friend. Make everybody some money. And if you become friends, that's fantastic. I prefer you get rich and can't stand me, okay, than love me and be broke. I just, you know, I think at some point in time, you rich and can't stand me, you'll wake up one day and realize you was wrong. You know, you have all the money and then we'll have a chance at a relationship. But do it for the right reasons, right? Keep people away from you for the right reasons. You may like them, like my wife, our last leaders. tried her hardest to be my wife's friend early on, but my wife didn't want to do that. She wanted to earn her seat at the table, right? And that's uncommon, because normally when a person extends their hand to you from higher up, people run to it immediately. But my wife understood that dynamic and said, you know what? No, I'm gonna serve. No, I'm going to come to all the meetings. I'm gonna serve at the tables. You know, I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm not gonna be your friend, because that would be detrimental to, you know, anything we got going on right now. This is gonna be business. And then when they became friends, they were friends, and there was a mutual level of respect, even though they were on different levels economically. Hopefully y'all getting this part, because this is right now. Some of y'all think, this don't make no sense. It makes a lot of dollars, though. It makes a lot of dollars. It creates a lot of security and stability, though. It's the thing. Think about it. These type of things that I'm sharing with you guys are the type of things that made people millions and billions of dollars. But it's the people who haven't made $100,000 in a year that tell me that this is hogwash, or this is, you know, it don't make no sense. We're not, first of all, if this doesn't make any sense, it's not supposed to, because you and I think different. People who make a ton of money and people who don't, they think totally different. They have different financial philosophies, economic philosophies. So if you see a person who's really, really rich and a person who's really, really poor, and they're agreeing 100% of the time on everything that they're saying, one of them are lying. Okay. The broke person is either lying to impress the rich person, or the rich person is lying to protect the poor person's feelings. But you know, again, philosophically, you know when you're talking to the right person. So the other thing is this: when you're actually changing the culture, guys, you got to bring a lot of brand new people in to change the culture. This is where the numbers. This is where you go out there and you just go replenish your whole entire base, and go out there and put a whole bunch of brand new people in there, and whatever edification you can get from the system while you're bringing brand new people in, use it to your advantage. Like when I was bringing new people in, I actually hosted, like Carly. I was Carly, right? I'm just the male version of Carly, coming through the ranks. I hosted everything they would allow me to host, and then people start catching on, and so everybody now started to want to host, right? Oh, now y'all get it. But for like maybe 5 or 6 months straight, you know, I would host like 3 or 4 days, you know, out of the week with presentations, and I would host every Monday night when we had our leadership call every Monday night, or the team leadership call every Monday, because I wanted my team to see me serving. I wanted my team to hear me get whatever recognition the leader was going to give me. I wanted to make sure that they saw I was out there, because the person who I edified was already up here. And if I am the one that's hosting the call, that means I have access. I'm showing you, I have access. This person it's more than just them knowing my name. You know, they trust me to host a call for them, right? And so again, some of y'all missed the point, again, of hosting. If I were y'all, I would have people lining up to host for everything, because it builds them up credibility-wise, but also builds you up. The more people who you have doing the simple things, the little small things, the better off you have to have a changed culture in your organization. Okay, on anything that you can do when it comes to, and I hate to go back to this, but I don't hate to go back to it, but when you actually have a brand new person come in, and that person automatically goes into GCU because that person doesn't have any baggage, okay, no preconceived notion, and that person starts to learn and starts to grow and starts to explode, that person now becomes the prototype of every new person. Hey, let me show you what Beverly did. Let me show you what Tanya did. Let me show you what Laura did. When she first got started, Laura, she missed no Grant Cardone calls. She was on it every Saturday. Matter of fact, she even did some of the rally calls during the week, and did some role playing. But that's why Laura's exactly where she's at right now. That's why she's recruiting the amount of people she's recruiting right now. That's why she's able to go out here and do presentations right now. And so that type of an edification that you actually can give to somebody who just got started, not a person who's making, who has the most money, not a person who's doing all the presentations, not a person who has all the rank. Okay. I have a team with people with rank. I care nothing about rank. I actually highlight the people and focus on the people who are following the system, period. That's why I say, look, give me a person who hits some rank, we'll interview them. That's cool. But give me some person who's made some money, people who follow the system and who trusted the system and was successful. I'd rather interview them. People who buy in are more valuable to your organization than people who don't. People who don't value your leadership and they make a ton of money, they'll leave your group with your people. Those are the type of people who are calling your people right now saying, hey, yeah, you need to take a look at this platform right now. You know, we got this going on over here. We don't know what's going to happen over here, but we got this already over. And again, the vultures, those are the vultures. Those are people who can't hunt for themselves. They have to let you get everybody together, organize a big event or a big group, and they come in and try to poach your village. Okay. But if you want to make sure, like, I don't have a problem with anybody outside of my organization talking to any of my leaders, my core leaders, my 20%ers, my truthers. Okay. I have zero problem with people calling them and talking to them because I already know for a fact, one, you can't steal them from me. Two, they'll come ask me advice for what you're offering, right? That's how it normally goes. Now, outside the 20%, people who appear to be close or people who appear to be people who are following the systems and people who are saying all the right things, but they're not 20%ers, you can get them all day. And guess what? You can have them. Because for the same 20% will be the same people who helped me replace you. Right? Think about it for a second. Just like some of you have value for people who are in your group because you feel like they have influence. Nah, it's the people who are in, like think about it for a second. Beverly, all that area, Detroit, Michigan, all that stuff over there, and people, I know for a fact she's going to account for a percentage of that region. I know for a fact Evans is going to account for a percentage of Africa. I know for a fact Marika is going to account for a percentage of the U.S. and Canada. Right? I know for a fact that over in the Midwest, Joe and his group, they're gonna account. So it don't matter if a person leaves, those numbers will be replaced because I have people who are out there killing them. Right? And so I need y'all to stop sweating people. Let them leave. If anybody wants to leave, let them leave. Okay? They don't want to get started, let them start with somebody else. That's fine. Focus on the people who understand the vision, they understand the mission, and build around them. Go bring you a bunch of brand new people in and plug them into the system and watch what happens when we all work together on your people. Watch what happens. And so, guys, just finishing where we started at, go back and reinvent yourself. Remember, brand new people don't know who you are. They don't know how much you lost, right? Like when I left Houston to go to the military, I was about 225 pounds, right? I had 5'9". I was overweight, out of shape, right? And real shy. I talked to people, but I was real shy. But when I went to the military and I lost that 50 pounds, I came home 170. I reinvented myself because every city that I went to in Colorado and in Georgia, nobody knew me from the past. They knew who I was at that time, right? And so they got to meet who I wanted them to meet, right? I control the narrative at that point going forward. And a lot of you guys, you get to now control the narrative going forward. You get a chance to reinvent yourself going forward. Don't let your past blackmail your future, okay? And don't let people who mean nothing to you hold your failures over your head to keep you where you're at, okay? Go find a lot of brand new people and don't make the same mistakes that you made with the brand new people that you made with the last. Go out there and reinvent yourself. Go out there and reinvent yourself. Who do you look like? Reinvent it. What qualities do you have? Reinvent it. What skill sets do you have that have been upgraded or that are brand new that you need when you're reinvented? And these are the conversations you have to have yourself. When I reinvent myself, who will I be on the other side? How much better will I be? Why will I be better? What will I change? What would I enhance? What would I give up? What would I sacrifice? Right? It's going to take a little sacrifice. Right? But when you sacrifice it for the right reason and don't sacrifice just for the sake of saying, I sacrificed this and that didn't happen. When you sacrifice and you make your sacrifice work, it'll pay off for you. But go and reinvent yourself. That should be the mission going forward. Turn yourself into a 7-figure person. Reinvent yourself into a 7-figure person. You deserve it. Now go deserve it. How many of you think that you are worth a 7-figure annual income? Anybody besides me? Okay. You might want to put that in your journals. You might want to put that somewhere where you can see it, read it, and speak it every day. That needs to become an affirmation of yours. Okay. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm a 7-figure annual earner. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm a 7-figure monthly earner. You know, whatever you want to do, however ambitious you want to get, but know that whatever you're willing to earn and you go out there and make the necessary changes and upgrades within yourself, it'll show up. It's not going to show up at your speed. It's going to show up at your creative speed. The universe will give you 100% of what you own, 100% of what's owed, okay? And this is a debt. So when you help somebody for the universe will help you. But when you go out there and you put in the work, right? And you work on yourself, and you work on yourself, and you work on yourself on purpose, the universe says, you know what? They created a debt that I must return. They created a debt I must repay. They created a debt I have to now, because they believed, I have to pay off that belief. Because they invested, I have to pay off that return. That's what the universe does. That's what your creator does. That's what my creator did for me. Everything I prayed for, literally not begging for it. I prayed for it in the acceptance. I prayed for it in the having, in the present. And I said, thank you, God, for. I didn't say, God, please give me. Thank you, God, for. Whoever your creator is, thank you for. Because when you start thanking your creator for what you really and truly desire in life, what happens is it'll show up, because it'll start forcing you to think in the having, and it'll start giving you the answers that you need to make it become true. Okay. When you think about the Millionaire Next Door, the book, The Millionaire Next Door, the one thing that 100% millionaires and billionaires have in common is a spiritual connection. There's a connection to something bigger than them. They wasn't all married. They wasn't all smart. They wasn't all Asian. They wasn't all. They were all in a position where they all were tied and attached and connected to a force that was greater than them. At some point in time, you have to believe in something that's bigger than you, because when you have times where you're shook, okay, or where you have trauma, PTSD from investing, yeah, you got to be able to believe in something. You know, you got to be grounded, guys. I heard the information, or I read the message, whatever, probably about 40 minutes before the call. Okay. I want to know as bad as you guys do, but I'm not shook about it, because it doesn't make me or break me. It doesn't define me. It does nothing to me, except for if it's something where I have to pivot or I have to make a decision, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. But if it's something, so okay, well, it's a setback or it's something that we have to change or something we have to abide by, and guess what we're gonna do? That, and continue to diversify. That's what we're gonna do. That, and continue to build out our portfolio. Okay. And that's what you should have. That's the same mindset that you should have, guys. Nothing's perfect. None of us are perfect. No platform that we'll ever operate on is perfect. Okay. But one thing I can tell you is perfect for me is freedom, being financially free to go and come as I please, do what I want, for what I want, with my family until the day I die. That's my perfect life right there. So with that, guys, I'm gonna turn you guys back over to your evenings. Again, if anybody reaches out to you, just say it's to be determined. And so we'll get the full feedback real soon. When I talk to Blockchain Kojo and kind of get an idea of how to explain everything, how to break everything down, what to expect and stuff like that, I will make sure that I articulate that with you guys to the best of my ability and some. Okay, and we will 100% always have a plan of action, period. So love you guys. And as always, don't know what we did to deserve you guys, but we're going to always and forever do what we need to do to make sure you guys are in a position to win, make sure you guys are in a position to get your goals and dreams accomplished. And so just continue to believe in me as I believe in you guys, and we'll do everything that we set out to do. So Project 10,000 is real. It's a thing and it's done. All right. So y'all take care, guys. I'll see you guys same time, same channel next week. More people. Bye-bye.